We're back, SFA News Live. Well, you know, what we just did upstairs is we had a fabulous buyer panel. We were able to look through the lens of buyers of all these great specialty foods and what they had concerns about. Certainly what came up were the tariffs, how that's going to impact the food industry from agriculture to the finished products that we've got. What are the consumer trends that they're looking at? Just about everything that the people here, the tens of thousands of people here, are really concerned about. Now, the show yesterday got off to a great start, record numbers of attendees. The show floor has been humming all day yesterday, already today. The show floor is packed, and it's time for us to talk about trends. Back with us is Denise Purcell from Specialty Food Association, the content creator, the content director, and the trend spotter. So first of all, tell us a little bit about what the trend spotter panel does, and then I want to pick your brain from what you saw yesterday.
Sure. So we put together this panel. It's not just at the shows. It kind of helps us on a year-round basis. They set the trend predictions for 2018, and then we have members back at the shows so that we can kind of keep an eye on how we're doing with those selections, what's new and emerging at the shows. And it's a group of buyers from the retail and the food service side. We've got some food writers, some food educators, so kind of industry professionals who are looking through their own lens at what they think is up and coming and on trend.
That's great. Yeah. So let me look through your lens.
Okay.
You know, I don't know how much time because you're working, you know, to keep the show moving. But you know, when you walked the show floor yesterday, what did you see that was outstanding for you? I'll start off by telling you one thing that Kathy Strange from Whole Foods told us yesterday. She tasted a cheese that had as an ingredient green ants from Australia.
Wow.
And they used green ants because of the flavor that imparted to the cheese.
They taste different than
different
regular old
than,
ants.
I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So, you know, what did you see that was kind of cool?
I mean, that's really interesting, and I have to check that out. We took a look, even heading into the show, at new product announcements and what's online on our product marketplace on specialtyfood.com. And some of the things we saw, I wouldn't necessarily go as far as the ants, but I'm going to keep an eye on that, but a lot of plant-based, obviously.
Absolutely.
It's all over. I even hesitate to say it's a trend. It's more like a lifestyle movement at this point.
It's mainstream. Yeah.
But lots of, you know, plant-based deli meats, plant-based jerkies, plant-based cheeses.
And I think the interesting thing is we've had imitation, I'm going to use that word on purpose, deli meats forever.
Yeah.
But they just didn't taste very good.
Yeah.
Now we're into a whole different era where these foods actually taste great.
Oh, absolutely. There are some mushroom jerkies and some eggplant jerkies that it doesn't try to mimic regular jerky.
Right,
it's its own thing, and it's
I think
interesting.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you bring it up, you know, very importantly, that in the past, all these other alternatives try to taste like bologna.
Yeah.
Now they're just standing on its own and they're doing great.
Yeah, absolutely. Beverages is another area. In fact, we released our new State of the Industry research recently. And what was interesting is collectively, beverage categories in specialty are growing faster than collective food categories. So heading into the show, we're seeing especially a lot of sparkling beverages and a lot of functional beverages.
So why do you think that that's over-indexing as compared to the rest of grocery?
You know, I think it's a combination of a couple of things. Ready-to-drink beverages and functional beverages, but even just coffees and teas and things have been really taking off. The sparkling, I think, fits in a little bit too. It's a sugar, like a soda alternative.
Right.
You know, I think
With
that's a big
sugar.
part of this, lower sugar, but still flavor. You know, there might be fruit infused or different things.
But it might have 10 calories instead of 120
Exactly.
calories.
And even some of the sparkling ones, they're not only good mixers for, say, cocktails, they're cocktail alternatives at this point, you know, but they're more sophisticated. If somebody's not drinking, they have a good choice.
Well, yesterday, in one of our interviews, we had the CEO of Toast.
Yes.
And what he told me, which I wasn't aware of, is that 30% of Americans don't drink at all, and another 30% drink one drink or less per week.
Wow.
So you look at that market of 60% of Americans
Yeah.
for products like that, it's huge.
Yeah, but they still want something kind of sophisticated. They don't want to
Yep.
drink, maybe they want to drink water, but not necessarily with a nice meal. They
Right.
want something else. So
And something that can enhance the food
exactly.
versus, yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
I have a nice dinner, I'm just having water, even if it's sparkling water,
Yeah.
I still have to add some lime to it or something.
Yeah, but the toast is a great example because that's a sparkling white tea with some
With cranberry
and ginger,
yeah.
right? So they're marketing it as a kind of a sparkling wine alternative.
Right.
And there's another product here. It's called Ovine. It's sparkling water. I think from Israel is the source of the water. They take the grape skins and the grape peels from the winemaking process and they steep it in the water. So you wind up with this sparkling water that has a scent of wine, has a little bit of a
Right,
hint of the taste.
Right.
It's not wine,
Very clever
but
because,
it's clever, yeah.
Typically they would throw the skins away
Exactly.
or make grappa out of it.
Exactly.
Either one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And actually, that's another trend I think we're going to see more of as the days go on and we cover the show floor. The upcycled products, where you take a byproduct of some process or something,
Right.
some kind of ingredient that would have gone to waste otherwise. The water is a good example. There are some flowers here at the show where they're taking spent grain from the beer making process, right? And they're incorporating it into the flour and they're selling the flour either to bakeries or even to consumers.
Well, I remember last year in the Innovation Center up at Level Up, there was a company, I'm going to get this wrong, but they were manufacturing a snack. And I think it was
yeah.
from mushrooms. There's mushrooms and something else, a recipe of them together. And the reason they were using mushrooms is a lot of the mushroom producers had mushrooms that were, I don't remember whether it was just pieces of mushrooms that they couldn't use, but it was some byproduct of mushroom production.
Yeah.
And they were making this fabulous snack out of it.
Yeah, it's happening more and more. Up in Incubator Village this time around, we've got a sparkling beverage again made with cascara, which is
I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
It's the leftover. I didn't know this either, but it's the leftover from the coffee making process. So you have the coffee fruit, right?
Right.
The bean is what you take out and you
Right.
roast and you make the coffee. The leftover of that berry sort
Right.
of is cascara. So they're taking that, they're infusing water with it and coming up with a whole new product.
Did you taste it?
I haven't tasted it yet,
Yeah.
but it's on the list. Yeah, I want to get
mean,
up
I like
there.
coffee. I don't know if I'd like really watered down coffee.
Well, yeah, we have to see. But they're putting it to use.
Yeah.
And even this is a little bit related, but tea infusions is something else we're
Yeah,
seeing.
seeing a
So
lot of
not
that.
part of the upcycled, but more
Right.
just as an ingredient. Seeing it in snack bars, so it gives a boost of caffeine. They infuse some of the ingredients with the tea. Some chocolates out there where there's one where the chocolate's been triple infused with black tea, and then I think it's coated over almonds with toffee, so you get the tea taste and a
And the
caffeine
sweet.
boost.
So what's interesting to me, I've noticed this for a while, that we have one sector which is all about the power bars, power beverages,
Yeah.
stimulation, caffeine, everything. And then you have the other aspect of it, which is relaxing,
Yeah.
relaxing beverages and all this other stuff. So maybe we need to get rid of all those and just, be right in the center.
It's true though,
Yeah.
the relaxation, the I guess it's part of sort of the wellness trend
Yes.
we're seeing, but relaxation, rejuvenation beverages help you sleep better, help you calm down. They're all
Right.
out there. We're also seeing a lot of kind of beauty boost beverages as part of
Yes.
that functional beverage.
We saw it, I guess,
Trend.
probably about 10 years ago, first with aloe.
Yeah.
Where people were drinking aloe to be beautiful from the inside out.
Yeah.
But that never really went much place.
It didn't really take off. Now
And
what
it
we're
didn't taste
seeing,
very good too. Oh, yeah, that's probably the
that might be.
because,
It taste is it. Yeah, that's
because
number
as
one.
much as of the functionality that
Yeah.
we want to have with all these products and so on,
Yeah.
we've got to remember it still has to taste good. That's always number one.
Absolutely. What the thing is now is collagen in either beverages or snack bars, things like that. Very new, like just
Right.
kind of emerging, but we're seeing collagen as an ingredient more. There's a functional sipping vinegar here at the show with a collagen boost, and I think maybe some kind of cherry juice to kind of cut the acidity.
So let me be devil's advocate here for a second. Are we getting a little too carried away here? When you really think about a collagen boost bar,
Yeah.
whatever these things are.
I think it kind of remains to be seen.
Yeah.
There is definitely a consumer mindset, especially younger consumers,
Right.
but not just limited to them. Older people for different reasons as well. Better for you.
Right,
Even when I'm
absolutely.
treating myself, I want to feel like what I'm having is better for me, or I made some kind of a health choice with it. So if it's a chocolate with probiotics in it, if it doesn't alter the taste,
Right.
and it still
Well,
tastes
that I
good,
think
but
is
you
good.
feel like you're getting some kind of
Yeah.
benefit, I think the jury's still out on how much more we're going to see in the product development range
And
there.
you and I have talked for decades about different trends and so on.
Yeah.
And when I go back, 30, 35 years, people were really hot on nutraceuticals, that
Yeah.
whole idea of functional foods. We never really saw it happen. Little products here and there, but nothing big.
Yeah.
But now as I walk around the show floor, and nobody's calling it nutraceuticals anymore.
Well, yeah.
But that's what we're really starting to see.
Yeah.
And it's taken that long for people to understand that we can use food as a carrier for different health benefits.
That's right.
That can either cure or prevent diseases. And that's great.
Yeah, and you know what I think really took off and set the bar with that is when pomegranate became so popular and it was all over the place, and the idea of the super fruit came to
Right.
be, that it doesn't have to sound like a medicinal thing like nutraceuticals. It could be
Right.
as simple as blueberries, which are high in antioxidants, but,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're adding them to a chocolate bar, you're adding them to a snack, or, grains, superfoods, superfruit, and it's taking off.
But let's talk from a consumer standpoint for a second. So we see all these articles written about it. We see the ads on it for pomegranate juice and so
Yeah.
on. Where does a consumer today find out whether this stuff is real or not real? Because some of it's hype. I mean, I look at certain pomegranate juices that are out there that has just a little bit of pomegranate and a lot of
Yeah.
water in it.
Yeah.
And you're really not getting that health benefit. So what do you see as the resource for consumers? Because if you Google it, half of what comes up is true and half isn't true,
Yeah.
but nobody knows what's true and what's not true.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of the thing with all kinds of diets, right? Like eggs are bad for you, eggs are good for
Right,
you, all
right.
that. It is a more educated and curious and aware consumer base that we're dealing with now, I think. So they seem to be doing their diligence. They seem to be digging into the facts, the transparency behind the product, but at the same time, it's a very adventurous and exploratory consumer base too.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
if it's not going to hurt them, I think they're willing to just incorporate it into their diet.
Yeah, and give it a try.
And give it a try.
See what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then try the next thing,
Yes, and it's always the next and the next and the next
Yeah,
and the next.
yeah.
So, well, Denise, as always, love to have you here.
Thank you.
We need your lens for the entire industry, not just for SFA News Live. But you'll be back tomorrow to tell us more.
I will, yeah, we'll have the Trend Spotters picks from day 2.
Terrific.
All
Well,
right.
thanks so much. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, one of the panelists, one of the retailers that we had on our retail panel is going to be here. This is a great story. There's a great guy, and you're not going to want to miss it. His name is Emilio, and we'll be right back.